This Los Angeles courthouse once again at the center of the legal saga that's captivated the music industry and beyond. Tory Lanez's role in the shooting of hip-hop star Megan Thee Stallion, the Canadian rapper born Daystar Peterson, known for hits like Love.
Everyone falls in love sometime. You gonna have to do more than just
And Say It.
You gonna need to do more than just
Sentenced today to 10 years for shooting Megan Thee Stallion in 2020. You were in the room when the sentence came down. What was the room's reaction?
There were a few gasps, a few sighs, but I think people knew it was coming.
Tory Lanez's attorneys were asking for probation and substance abuse help, saying that alcohol played a large role in this case. I think a lot of those arguments fell on deaf ears.
This case has been pretty significant because it's allowed us to have a really uncomfortable conversation about the mistreatment of Black women. It's been a conversation that I think a lot of people have been uncomfortable to have.
Megan, born Megan Pete, known for hits like Body and Hot Girl Summer, was nowhere near the courtroom, but still made her voice heard, a victim impact statement delivered on her behalf.
She talked a lot about the mental health impact of this shooting on her life, and she's physically recovered, but the thing the letter conveys is the emotional scarring.
The 28-year-old urging the judge for a stiff sentence, saying that she has not experienced a single day of peace since the incident. She added that Lanez made a mockery of her trauma and said her statement was for all survivors, that their lives matter, and that there is zero tolerance for the torture that accompanies violence.
I think Meg Thee Stallion having a victim impact statement being read was important because it really kind of reminded people that there was only one victim in this case. A woman was shot. That woman was Meg Thee Stallion. And I think a lot of times that fact got lost.
The 31-year-old Lanez was convicted in December of last year, but for more than 7 months, he and his legal team have tried to delay the sentencing.
The 10 years is actually not expected. He could have gone to jail for 22 years and 8 months, but because of sentencing guidelines, it's much lower than that. But also, Tory Lanez is not an American citizen, so the immigration implications come with it as well.
Over the course of 2 days, 7 people speaking out in support of Lanez, including his father, asking the judge for leniency. Chaplain Miles McNerney and Gary Lawson with the LA County Jail describe Lanez as a man who values his faith. You talked about what exactly are these prayer calls?
He actually started this thing called a prayer call where everybody turns off the TVs at 9 o'clock. And then he initiates a thing where he starts praying or breaking in scripture, and then everybody follows suit.
Lanez himself addressing the judge, saying, if I could change that night, I would.
He pretty much asked for a second chance, that he didn't want his life reduced to this one terrible decision. Now, of course, he did not admit to the shooting. I wouldn't say necessarily he apologized to Megan, but he did say he still cared for her.
The defense also submitted 76 letters of recommendation, including one from pop star Iggy Azalea. Azalea later posting she didn't know the letter was going to be made public, saying, I don't support anyone. Lanez's legal team outside the courthouse today, calling the sentence too harsh.
Tory did not get the sentence that we had certainly hoped for. I have seen cases of vehicular homicide and other cases where there's death and the person still gets less than 10 years.
The prosecutors standing by the outcome of the case.
Over the past 3 years, Mr. Peterson has engaged in a pattern of conduct that was intended to intimidate Ms. Pete, silence her, and keep her from defending and bringing her truth out.
The sentence, like the shooting itself, a lightning rod for debate, even though she was the one who was shot. To a lot of people, it seemed like Megan was the one on trial.
Megan Thee Stallion was not on trial, and yet we saw culturally she was.
This case becoming a symbol of how our society treats women, particularly Black women and abuse survivors.
You know, as a Black woman, we're often the targets of violence, and when we speak up about things, people don't believe us.
Raising the question, if a massively popular 3-time Grammy Award winner is not believed, who is?
There's a way that Megan was never seen as vulnerable. And some of this is due to her being a Black woman. Some of this is due to her being this tall, voluptuous woman. Some of this is due to her persona as Meg Thee Stallion, Tina Snow, this very public and dynamic sexual appetite in her performance. And all of that combined to make her someone who was easily vilified and certainly not vulnerable.
The ordeal began in July of 2020 when Megan was partying at Kylie Jenner's house with friends, shown here in an Instagram Live. Also at the party, rapper Tory Lanez. Megan, Tory, and Megan's friend at the time, Kelsey Harris, all reported that they left the party together. Lanez later texted Megan that he'd gotten too drunk. While they were in the car, an argument broke out.
So I get out the car and it's like everything happens so fast.
Here's what she told CBS's Gayle King what happened next.
And all I hear is this man screaming. He said, dance, and he started shooting. And I'm just like, oh my God. If I take the wrong step, I don't know if he can shoot something that's like super important. I don't know if he could shoot me and kill me. Like,
were you afraid for your life at that time?
I was really scared because I had never been shot at before.
5 shots rang out. This TMZ video shows the aftermath. Megan struggling to walk, leaving a trail of bloody footprints. When police arrived on the scene, Megan did not tell them that she'd been shot, saying instead that she'd stepped on glass.
She was scared. It was the middle of the night. She had just gotten shot. It was friends of hers that were involved. She didn't tell the full, story immediately, but she did shortly thereafter.
Tory Lanez becomes identified on social media as the alleged shooter. And almost immediately after that, fans of Tory Lanez and some other folks who I don't think who even knew who Tory Lanez were, but were certainly in the business of vilifying Megan Thee Stallion, began to push back on that narrative.
Megan tweeted back at the false statements and internet memes. It might be funny to y'all on the internet and just another messy topic for you to talk about, but this is my real life, and I'm real life hurt and traumatized. Lanez was charged in the incident in October 2020, and he stood trial in December of last year.
Let's go. How you feeling today, Megan?
Great. After years of speculation and rumors, the trial lasted only 11 days. There were no cameras in the courtroom, but I was there when Megan took the stand when her voice cracked and she said, "I wish he would have just shot and killed me if I knew I was going to have to go through this torture. This has messed up my whole life. I don't even want to be on this earth no more." Lanez was found guilty on 3 felony counts, including assault, carrying a loaded, unregistered firearm in a vehicle, and discharging a firearm with gross negligence. Since the trial, Megan Thee Stallion has begun to re-enter the spotlight, giving a glimpse into her life on social media, from workouts to cooking videos.
She just now is slowly starting to, find herself back on social media, and she's just now, doing shows again. She performed at the Essence Festival this summer, which was colossal, and she was met with a lovely audience because it was a safe space for her to perform.
She also graced the cover of Elle, writing in an essay, "I don't want to call myself a victim. As I reflect on the past 3 years, I view myself as a survivor. Not only did I survive being shot by someone, but I overcame the public humiliation of having my name and reputation dragged through the mud."
She has not let this stop her. In fact, I think it's made her become much more of an activist than she probably planned on becoming as a rap star.
Lanez, in an orange jumpsuit, looked at his family and briefly smiled as he was escorted out of the courtroom today, his lawyers vowing to appeal.
I think if there's a deeper meaning from the sentencing, it's that Black women are being heard and listened to, and maybe, just maybe, there's about to be a turning of the corner. Maybe.
Our thanks to Zoreen. And for much more, check out our full episode of Impact by Nightline, Megan Thee Stallion, and the trial of Tory Lanez.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.